The following podcast contains spoilers for The Wave and Kill the Irishman. You have been warned.
Welcome back, everybody, to KFR News Radio. This is your host, Glenjamin Button, along with your host, Miguel Megusto, the man behind the award-winning film.
Hey. It wouldn't be award-winning without you saying, all right.
So that's a big move you just threw at me.
Yeah.
But all right.
All right. Yes. How you doing, Glenn? Award-winning Glenjamin Button.
Oh, man. It feels good. Mm-hmm. It feels good. And other than that, I'm just okay.
Other than that, you're just okay?
Yeah.
I'm in about the same predicament. But hey, I got a question for you.
Oh, hit me with it.
Will Ferrell stars in which 2003 Christmas movie? God motherfucking damn it.
Did it have to be so specific? Because other than that, it could have just said 2003 and I probably would have been stumped.
Yeah.
But could it possibly be Jingle All the Way?
No, we were looking for Elf. Sorry.
Shit, that was 2003?
That was 2003.
My God.
How much Jingle All the Way? I mean, I know you were just kidding, but Jingle All the Way was in the 90s. So.
No, I know. But that one definitely feels like it was in the 90s. Elf does not feel like it's been that long ago.
I mean, it was like right at the turn of the century, so it was, yeah. I still have very vivid memories of watching that movie. Mainly because my friend decided to sit on the stairs during it and was being very annoying throughout. But
that's very weird.
Yes, indeed. Anyway, that's in the past. Have you seen any movies that you want to talk about last week?
I've not watched movies, but I have started watching Atlanta. I was on a Childish Gambino / Donald Glover kick after Guava Island, so I was like, I'm going to start Atlanta. It's a pretty funny show so far, but not really going anywhere. I'm like halfway through the season.
Yeah, I hear it's like a very like surreal show sometimes.
Yeah, like there's a story behind it. It's just not going anywhere, and I'm only like 6 episodes deep, but still.
Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah,
it's funny though.
If I was on a Donald Glover kick, I would just rewatch Community because I
haven't watched Community.
That is gold.
And I don't want to start something that's many seasons long.
That's fair. I mean, they're all short episodes.
Yeah.
But anything else before we get into The Wave and Kill the Irishman?
Nope, I just watched our movies and that's it. What about you?
Well, I only watched one movie, believe it or not, other than our 2 movies.
I don't believe you.
Well, you gotta believe me because that's what happened. Toy Story 4.
I was actually going to watch that yesterday, but then decided I'll let you talk about
it. As seems to be the theme this year, Keanu Reeves was the best part. Not to say it's a bad movie, but...
what was his name in the movie?
Duke Kaboom.
Yeah, Duke Kaboom. Canadian stunt man.
Devil, whatever. Yeah. But, it was okay. I really don't understand why they kept going. 3 was such a perfect ending. And
that's what I said. And that's why I'm trying not to watch the 4th one. But a friend was like, man, this one really hits you in the feels at the end. I'm like, so did the last one.
Not nearly as much as 3. I mean, there are moments of it, but like 3 was emotional throughout the entire thing. Where
it was such a good ending for it.
Yeah. And I mean, with Andy, Andy's going to go to college. So it's just like this tension of like what's going to happen throughout. This one, you're just like, yeah, Bonnie's cute and all, but I don't really give a shit about her. I didn't watch 3 movies with her. She's just some little girl that I have no connection with. But it is what it is. They're going to keep making them as long as they keep making money. But anyway, that's all I saw. That's all I saw other than our 2 movies. So let's get into The Wave.
Vi snakker om en 80 meter høy bølge her. Etter 10 minutter så finnes det ikke Geiranger lenger.
Director.
All right, get ready for a lot of stuff here going on.
Yeah, we gotta mispronounce all these. Directed by Roar Utaug, written by John Kararaki, Harold Rosenlow Eeg, and starring Christopher Joner, Ane Dahl Torp, Jonas Hof Oftebro. I was doing okay until then, but either way, The Wave tells the story of although anticipated. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm going to start that one over. The Wave is a movie about a wave. And although anticipated, no one is really ready when the mountain pass above a scenic, narrow Norwegian fjord, Geiranger, collapses and creates a 85-meter-high violent tsunami. A geologist is one of those caught in the middle of it. Ugh, I should just give up on life.
I was trying not to say anything just to let you power through it. Oh, man.
Why do I pick the foreign movies all the time?
I don't know.
But yeah, this one was available on Netflix. And probably the biggest thing I liked about it, it's a disaster movie, but on a really small scale.
Yeah.
Like, it's really just affecting a small town in Norway, which, you know, that doesn't mean it's not as heightened as it would be if it was worldwide, but it's a very small scale in comparison to, you know, like the Roland Emmerich movies, like Independence Day and 2012, all that. But it has a lot of the same stuff going on, so I really appreciated that.
Yeah, I was telling Kira at lunch, I'm like, all right, imagine Day After Tomorrow, except for none of the crazy shit that happens in it, and it's on a much smaller scale.
Yeah, and they're not running away from global warming.
Yeah.
They're running away from a wave.
Basically, it's some, like, people aren't listening to this one scientist. Mm-hmm. He's warning them about what's going to happen. They don't listen to him. He goes and he's like, okay, whatever. And then next thing you know, I'll fucking...
Oh, he was right.
Breaks loose.
Yeah. Now, I will say that while I understand how frustrated he was, I also understand why they didn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Because while his prediction came true, it's very possible that it might not have come true. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, unfortunately, he kind of realized a little too late. They did the whole scientific method where they actually like went and saw and didn't see any issues coming up, and it was just like a numbers thing that maybe it will happen, maybe it's just some weird thing. So it's one of those things where there's no real antagonist as like, this guy's an asshole, he's the reason all these people are gonna die.
Yeah, everybody was doing their job.
Yeah, and no one overreacted. Mm-hmm. Which it was a very, for lack of a better word, a very scientific disaster movie, where, you know, they thought about things before actually doing them, and it actually was plausible throughout. I mean, they even showed footage of actual rock slides in Norway in the beginning, and this is based on one that will happen eventually. Hopefully they have a little bit more of a heads up than they did in this, but... And
not a seaside hotel, just ready to get plowed.
Yeah. But what'd you think overall?
So, like, overall, like, after I watched, I'm like, okay, that was a good movie. And then I got to thinking about it, and I liked it more the more I think about it, because it's not like every other disaster movie. It's more realistic. The realism is definitely there, and that's why I appreciated it more after I started thinking about it. Mm-hmm. So, like, I loved it. Well, I wouldn't go as far as saying I loved it, but I thought I appreciated it a lot more knowing that there felt like more was at stake because less was happening, you know?
Yeah, and it's the thing about a lot of disaster movies is that they get to a point where I'm just like, just let the human race die already.
Yeah,
like, if what you're doing is impossible, it's not going to happen. I know the way you're gonna save it is gonna be some movie bullshit that won't actually happen in real life. Whereas this, like, everything was real. He tried saving people. Mm-hmm. Not everyone he saved lived, and it was a very like you said, very realistic, and the small scale I think really helped that out because it's kind of like the whole. Kind of like what Marvel's going through with when the world is at stake so many times, do we even care after like the third or fourth time? Mm-hmm. But there's something about it being realistic and smaller scale that make it seem more important, if that makes sense. I feel like a lot of people just go straight to world disaster before they even think about just creating like a small story.
But yeah, I mean, I liked everybody in the movie. Even some of the characters made like a lot of sense. Like, I think there was a character named Philip who just was like entrapped with a room with two of the main characters, and then he just started flipping shit because he didn't want to die. So he just started like instinctively drowning the other people in there, just like
trying to conserve oxygen for himself. And he was really the only like selfish character, even when his wife was still alive. Mm-hmm. Like his wife was completely selfless, and he was the opposite. And in reality, like they were about to get on a bus, and you find out later that everyone on that bus died. So like, granted, that's not something he would know about, but she saved him until he started being an asshole and got himself killed. But she saved him by being selfless and trying to help her help the main
son, Sandre.
Try to find the son, which that part honestly that kind of got me, where like she turned to run back as like just a customer at the hotel, like a guest at the hotel, and she turned to help one of the hotel employees try to find her son. There
are definitely people like that, people who are selfless, and in this case the marriage, people who are selfish as well.
Oh, definitely.
And it definitely showed that 50-50 pretty hard. My favorite part is when the selfless person got swept away by the wave, and she was just like, she's gone. She's done.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that bitch is still floating down the hallway.
Well, I mean, she probably is dead.
No, for sure. But still, I thought it was funny. She's just like 5 seconds after it happened, she's like, she's gone. You can't help her.
Yeah.
She's like, no, she's right there doing a water slide.
Yeah. Yeah, there are definitely some stuff. And like, I wonder how much of that is just lost in translation. Not all, but some of the dialogue was a bit hokey. But again, you know, the audio is in Norwegian, the subtitles are in English, so it could just be something lost in translation.
Maybe.
Which, I mean, I've noticed that does happen from time to time with foreign movies, where like things are expressed in a way that isn't really translatable, so they do the best they can, and then it's just like, you know, not as profound as it. Yeah, we'll never know unless we know Norwegian, which, I mean, I don't. I'm learning German, but
I
those
thought
are
about it, like getting into it, and I was like, "This is for the sake of KFR, no way."
We must continue to mispronounce everyone's name. It's our MO. It's our brand.
But I definitely like this movie. Definitely more than most disaster movies. Period.
Yeah.
Because it was realistic in all sense.
I will admit, disaster movies are kind of my guilty pleasure. Monster movies are just great, so I don't consider those my guilty pleasure. But like disaster movies, I fully acknowledge are bad, but I still love them. Like my dad and I used to go see like every disaster movie that came out. Because he likes them too.
That's how my dad is too. But after a while, I couldn't. I think after 2012, I just stopped watching.
2012 was a bad one.
Yeah, I just stopped watching disaster movies just because I don't want to sit through that anymore.
Yeah, that's really like the last big disaster movie. I'm pretty sure that killed the whole genre.
Yeah.
But like even Nicolas Cage's The Knowing, it's terrible. I fully admit that, but I really enjoy that movie.
I still think The Day After Tomorrow is definitely going to be one of the best ones on a scale for me.
Yeah.
But I definitely like this movie more for the realism. Yeah,
this is definitely a better movie overall.
Just an entertaining movie. Day After Tomorrow is, it's there.
Yeah. It's a fun one to watch. But I mean, I don't really have too much to say. It was...
well acted, well written. The wave, when the wave was actually happening, I was actually kind of breathtaking a little bit. I was like, holy hell.
Like when the main character stops to help his neighbor, and like they lock themselves in the car, like because they know they're not going to be able to outrun it. She hurt her leg. They're not going to be able to outrun it. So as a last-ditch effort, they just get into this car that happens to be open, buckle themselves in, roll up the windows, and just hold on. Yeah. And, you know, in a Hollywood movie, they would both live in that scenario. But, you know, this is realistic.
And one was impaled with a spike.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, I thought they just did a really good job at, you know, keeping it enticing. But I do have problems with this movie. I can't remember any of them. But
the one problem that I did have with it, and I almost forgot until just now, I hate those moments in movies where they're like, oh, this character's dead. Oh man, he's sucked up all this water. He's definitely dead. And they're like, no way. Let me pump his chest 18 more times and bring him back to life. I hate those moments.
Yeah. I honestly think,
especially when you can see them coming.
Yeah, I think it would have been better if he just died.
Yeah.
Or just didn't drown.
That too. If he did save him, I would have been okay with it.
Yeah, if he just saved him with no last minute dramatics and was fine, that'd be one thing. But like with him essentially dying, and then, or at the very least, like having no issues.
For me, that takes away from the big scale disaster. Like, all right, you went from the small scale disaster, you're doing this well, and then they got that moment in there where it's like this big scale, like big moment, and then you're like, yeah, but we know he's gonna live.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially since you're taking so much time on it.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it. I think they did a good job of making you care about the smaller characters, like the neighbor you cared about, even though she's barely in it. The co-worker of the main actress, like you cared about her. When you see her dead, you're just like, oh man, that sucks. So yeah, I think they did a really good job at like creating a character base that you connected with, even if just for a short time. All right, let's move on to Kill the Irishman.
This is about the 4th time someone's tried to kill you.
I'm an Irish Catholic with the grace of God on my shoulder. If any of these maggots from the so-called mafia want to come after me, I'm not a hard man to find.
Danny Green wanted the American dream.
I got a proposition.
We bring Danny in the mix.
So he took it.
Good call, Danny. Place like Sears Roebuck.
I'm gonna put you away, you know that?
Don't rock the boat, Joe.
Come here, I want to show you something. I provide a unique financial service, loan sharking. Stop it.
John Laverne says you've been doing a good job for him. But we take our cut.
We do all the work, and you get 30% for doing nothing.
That's the arrangement.
You guys have let me drive for too long. Irishman's in business for himself now.
Directed by Jonathan Hensley, written by Jonathan Hensley, and also Jeremy Walters. Stars Ray Stevenson, Christopher Walken, Vincent D'Onofrio, Val Kilmer. There's a lot of people in this movie for no reason. Linda Cardinelli. Yeah, that's what I was going for. And that one dude from freaking not Sopranos, Jesus Christ, Godfather. I forget his name. He's in there.
I don't know who you're talking about.
He's the one that grabbed the cannoli. Paul Sorvino. Leave the gun, grab the cannoli. That guy.
Oh.
He's in there too.
Oh.
Oh wait,
okay.
I just accidentally clicked out of that whole tab. But yeah, So Kill the Irishman is about the true story of Danny Green, a tough Irish thug working for mobsters in Cleveland during the 1970s. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I don't think the Mafia when I think of Cleveland.
Absolutely not.
I just think of Factory of Sadness and bad football team.
Yep, straight up Ohio. I was not ready for Ohio. So yeah, this came out in 2011. I remember it being on like HBO or something like that. And I always caught the end. I never really caught the beginning. Mm-hmm. That's all I really remember. Just a lot of people fucking blowing up to bombs.
Oh, yeah.
So
there are a lot of car bombs in this.
Yeah, way more than you would expect.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, I came across it on, what was it, on Netflix? Or no, Hulu. And I was like, oh, you know what? I feel like watching that again, seeing if it holds up to my young 18-year-old's body and mind.
Well, did it?
It did not.
The best way I can describe this is it feels like, and it very well may be, it feels like a TV movie version of like a Martin Scorsese movie.
Yeah.
That's not to say it is bad. There were a lot of parts of it that I thought were enjoyable, but I think it's the biggest thing. It's sloppily edited at points, not throughout the entire thing, but at points. It either felt like they just didn't have scenes to transition from one scene to another, or like shots to transition, or it felt like it was maybe like 30 minutes longer and they were forced to cut it out. Which either way, it's very possible that happened.
Maybe.
I think while he did a good job, I think Ray Stevenson looked
almost nothing like Danny Green.
Yeah, that and he I don't know, he just looked too old from the beginning. You know, he didn't.
Yeah, so the timeline throughout this movie, they don't really give you a space. You see the timeline through the kids that Danny Green has.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, oh shit, this kid's now a grown up. Or not a grown up, but she's actually grown up a little bit.
Yeah.
So you're like, holy hell, like, what is 5 years past? And like, they don't really give you like a set, like, hey, by the way, it's now 3 years later. Yeah.
And I think he looked more the part once he actually had the mustache. But for like the first half before he had the mustache, I'm just like, this
is weird.
It didn't fit really. Not that his performance is bad. It didn't fit.
It's just his look didn't fit.
Yeah. He seemed too clean cut in a way, and maybe that's what they're going for, but it didn't really work for me if that's what they're going for. And then definitely once he meets his second girlfriend, the young one, it's just, she seems way too young for him.
Yep.
So it makes it more creepy than it has to be.
So there's one thing that I forgot. Well, not forgot. Again, I didn't really see the whole movie. That they really paint Danny Green throughout this movie to be the hero in a way. In my opinion, it makes him seem like he's more of a hero than an actual villain. Like, yeah, he's a mobster and stuff, but like they're painting him to kind of be a good guy.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole movie. At least compared to the other mobsters, I don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, he did do good things, at least within the movie. I don't know enough about the actual Danny Green. Yeah. But we're led to believe that he doesn't deserve anything that's happening to him.
Is that just me, or do you think that too?
What
the way they made the movie seem,
with him like seeming like he shouldn't have any repercussions at all. Yeah, I definitely felt that way. Where it's just like, not that, again, he is better than all the other mafia people, because he's kind of doing it for the working man and everything. But he's also, I mean, he's a murderer.
Yeah.
and not that. I don't know what else to say. Like, I agree with what you're saying. I just think it's
So you got a gong over there? What the hell was that?
I hit my mic. My mic's in. But yeah, I think he was just. it just felt off throughout the entire thing. There were definitely parts
a lot
that I
of
liked.
this movie felt off.
Yeah.
Like specifically one of the actors in this movie, Val Kilmer. Mm-hmm. I don't know if this was during like his hiatus of just like being in things and just not really caring. Was he doing that? Because I feel like he was just taking projects and not really caring.
I honestly have no idea. He's
this one felt like that.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of felt that way for everything. I'm a big fan of Vincent D'Onofrio, and he kind of felt like it was phoning it in, too.
Yeah. Well, his character wasn't even that fleshed out.
Yeah. That could be
his
why.
depth, though, was great.
His death was great, but, like, it would have been better if he was more fleshed out. Like, I didn't feel anything. It felt like they wanted us to feel something, but I didn't.
Yeah, you don't feel a lot of things in this movie at all. You're just like, okay, it's just a mobster movie.
Yeah, it feels like it's going through the motions and not trying to be different and just trying to get through it. It feels like the movie is trying to get through itself.
Yeah. I was liking the setup of Danny Green's character, and then it kind of just went into the mobster tradition.
Yeah,
and then I lost interest. Like, I mean, it was a movie to watch. Like, I'm not saying like that I hated it in any sense of the way. I did like it throughout most of the movie, but it definitely didn't hold up to my 18-year-old's mind.
Yeah, it's not a bad movie. I know we're like shit talking it a lot. It's not a bad movie. It's just it has the potential to be so much better.
Mm-hmm. Even though it's from Ohio.
Even though it's from Ohio, yeah. But that's probably like the biggest heartbreaking thing about any movie that this happens with is like if there's such a great story, and like that's the one thing I legitimately love. The story of Danny Green's great, especially when he like goes on TV and points out where he lives and work to the Italian mob. Just badass shit like that made me proud to be Irish, even though I'm not that Irish.
I think this was also during when I was 18 and 19. Like I was like fully happy like that I was Irish and really expressing that. So like maybe that's why I liked it so much. I'm like, this guy really fucking loves that he's Irish. Oh, yeah. Me too now. I'm cussing a lot. I'm sorry.
It's quite all right. But yeah, that's probably my biggest takeaway is that it had the potential to be so much better and then just fell through.
Yeah. There's not much to say. We like the movie. We don't have that much to say about it, though. I mean, it's just, it wasn't as good as it could have been.
I take this city over.
This guy, he went on television daring us to do something about it. Your people, you can't do a simple job?
My enemies will be taken care of. I promise.
Cannot go to war with Shandor Burns. Watch your back.
36 bombs exploded. Really think the luck of the Irish is going to save you?
I've not built a bomb big enough to kill me.
Give this to the man who kills the Irishman.
This is one guy, and you can't take care of it. We shot him. We've blown him up. He just won't die.
That all you got? It's gonna take more than a few firecrackers to kill Danny Green.
25 G's for the head of Danny Green.
25?
In cash. Come on, you should be flattered.
That does it for The Wave and Kill the Irishman. I guess this is the time for the judgment. Glenn, are you ready to judge these movies and decide if they are shelf boys?
I'm ready.
That was terrifying. Please never do that again.
I tried backing way up so it wouldn't be that bad.
But anyway, I'll start with The Wave. Honestly,
I'm not making my judgment until you do on this one.
Well, I wanted to say that, but to you. Oh, man, because, like, I want to put it on the shelf, but I also don't, like, I'm trying to hold the shelf to a higher standard. And while this movie is great, it's ultimately probably forgettable. I mean, I just watched it a few days ago, so I haven't forgotten it yet, but I could see like a few years down the road just being like, oh yeah, I remember certain aspects of that, but it, overall it's fine.
Okay.
Fuck, man. Yeah, I think
You want me to say my piece?
Yeah.
Okay. So I also want to hold the shelf to a higher aspect of life. But also I also want to hold this movie at a higher aspect of life. Because where it takes like I said many times during the actual review of it, it doesn't go full scale, the end of the world. It's small scale town, and it's more realistic, which you don't see terribly much of. It's usually just straight up, the world's gonna die. Here we go. All the characters were great. The performances were great. Did I fall in love with the movie? No, but is it a disaster movie that I enjoy a lot? Yeah. And I think I would want to put it on the shelf if it's going to be in like a category of disaster movies next to each other.
Okay. Well, I guess you convinced me. So The Wave makes it to the shelf, I believe.
Damn.
Unless you're going to go back now that I said so. So The Wave makes it onto the shelf. Does Kill the Irishman. Glenn, what are your thoughts on Kill the Irishman?
It does not.
Yeah, same here. It's too...
Also, there's so many racist people in the 70s. I totally forgot about that, too.
There's a lot of racist people nowadays,
yeah,
too.
Just period, but it was just
we tend to drown them out now. But yeah, so The Wave makes it to the shelf. Kill the Irishman does not. That brings us to next week. Glenn, what is your movie for next week?
I don't know. You got to pick first.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We said I'd go first. So we are going to go into theaters for my next movie, mainly because I've been waiting for this movie for so long.
Just like The Dead Don't Die?
Well, I enjoyed The Dead Don't Die, but I think you're excited for this one too. I could be mistaken, but I think you are. We are going to watch Midsommar, which is released.
Oh, is that next week?
It's released on July 3rd, so this Wednesday.
Ari Aster.
Ari Aster. It is wide release, so everyone should be able to see it at their local theater. It is written and directed by Ari Aster, starring Florence Pugh, Jack Rayner, William Jackson Harper, and Will Poulter. It tells the story of a couple traveling to Sweden to visit a rural hometown's fabled midsummer festival. What begins as an idyllic retreat quickly devolves into an increasingly violent and bizarre competition at the hands of a pagan cult. So stoked for this one.
Did you see Jordan Peele's giving it like a raving review right now?
Yeah, I've been trying to avoid everything with this movie other than the trailer I already watched.
Same.
I mean, I have seen that just because, it's
I didn't read
in
the
my
article.
face.
I
didn't either.
Came across it.
But like they keep releasing new trailers for this. I'm like, nope. Get out of my face.
I don't know if that's like a marketing thing that they're just doing. Like, hey,
it is a marketing thing. People like giving too much information about movies nowadays. So yeah, that is going to be in theaters on July 3rd. Like I said, wide release, so everyone should be able to have access to it. And that movie again is Midsommar.
All right, I'm stoked for that one.
Me too.
I didn't even remember it was next week, so I'm super excited now.
Oh, I have a countdown on my phone for it.
All right, well, I'm going to also do a horror film.
Ooh,
problem is that I have
Spooky Julys.
4 lined up. I've been playing a video game right now. It's pretty scary, and I feel like I just want to keep that scary vibe going for the rest of the week. So I've got 4 lined up. I don't know which one to pick, so I want your judgment with it.
Okay.
I have one. It's a Spanish horror movie. It is an hour and 40 minutes long. It's about I'll give you the synopsis to each one. I'll let you really think about it. Strangers stuck in a Madrid bar after witnessing a murder begin to turn on each other as panic sets in and bodies count rises. Okay, so that's one of them. I will not name the name of it, even though that's stupid. The Basement, which I just completely contradicted what I just said 2 seconds ago. A Los Angeles serial killer abducts a famous musician, dragging him to a dungeon-like basement in order to enact his own capture, torture, and murder.
If it makes you feel better, I've never heard of that movie.
I believe this one's like an hour long. But this one is actually... I watched all the trailers for these. This one's funny because it looks like a really, really bad knockoff of Split.
Ooh.
So, there's that one.
Okay.
The Eyes of My Mother.
I've seen that one.
Have you?
Yeah.
All right.
I have it on Blu-ray.
Fuck that one then.
I thought you said you were going to tell me.
I wasn't, but it's too late now. Then we got Stonehurst Asylum. which has a bunch of stars in it. A new employee at the mental hospital becomes attracted to one of his colleagues, but he is unaware of a recent horrifying change in staff. This one actually has a lot of big names in it. Michael Caine, Brendan Gleeson, Kate Beckinsale, Ben Kingsley, Jim Strugis.
Okay.
The first one was The Bar, by the way, otherwise known as El Bar.
El Bar. Man.
So we got a movie that's kind of like Phone Booth in a bar, Split in a basement, or just a murder mystery kind of thing, I think, with a lot of big names.
Well, I was going to pick the first one until you told me that very disappointing title.
El Bar.
El Bar.
I think I know which one I want, and I know it's going to be bad for us.
Do you want The Basement?
Yeah.
Let's do The Basement then.
Okay, because I kind of want to make fun of it, but
Okay.
I know we're going to hate watching it.
Yeah, I hate watching a lot of things though, so it's fun.
So, The Basement. Oh man, I hate me for picking this one. We're gonna have a most likely really good horror movie, and then just shit on it with The Basement.
Oh, so we're gonna have to.
You're gonna have to watch The Basement first.
Luckily, next week is the week for my movie to be last, so we'll end on a high note next week. Oh, Misha Barton is in this. I wouldn't have picked this if I knew she was in it. Oh well.
Did you not hear?
Okay.
It looks like a very bad version of Split.
No, I heard that. I just didn't. I underestimated how bad it looks. All right, so that next week's movies are The Basement and Midsommar. Where's The Basement on? Netflix?
It's on Netflix.
The Basement's on Netflix. Midsommar will be in theaters, wide release, July 3rd. As always, you can follow us on Instagram, Keystone_film_review. On Facebook, we are Keystone Film Review. And on Letterboxd, I am Mike KFR.
And I am Glenn KFR.
And that will do it until next week. Well, I will love one movie probably and hate another. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.